All right, horse guys and gals. I'm back today with the long-awaited episode with my friend Mel.
Hi.
Hey, Mel. This is Mel's first time doing a podcast like this, so we might be a little awkward. We almost just spilled our drinks everywhere already, so... yeah, we got our peach schnapps, and we're going to chat about horses, so...
Yeah.
I want you to know you're the only friend that I would do this first guest episode with, because I'm too scared to do it with anybody else. I was like, I could ask Mel because she doesn't judge me when I film videos, so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know that you like doing this stuff, and it doesn't bother me, and I mean, heck, I watch you all the time anyway, so.
Yeah, some people get weird about being on video, which I get, like, with people, that's why I always ask, and, like, when, you know, Becky would come see the horses, I'd always ask her, like, do you want to be on video? And she usually wouldn't, so.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think she would care, but some people are weird about being on video, so yeah, here we are. Most of you guys know my friend Mel, at least those of you watching on YouTube. The listeners probably don't, but me and Mel have been friends for 6 or 7 years now, probably.
Yeah,
for quite a while. We became friends in high school over horse stuff. And we've just been besties ever since. So she's made a lot of appearances in the YouTube videos, so I think most of you guys know who she is, and her horse is Cash in April, so yeah. Mel, tell us a little about you and your horses and what you ride and stuff.
I have Cash. He's, 23 this year or something like that. He's a paint. You'll see him every once in a while on Michaela's channel, and in April. You used her for lessons, didn't you, for a while? She's 28, I think, this year. She's a bay. I got them when I was around 16.
Really? I thought you were younger than that.
No, I was 16. Cash was 14. We got April. April was kind of thrown into the deal for my little sister. And after a while, as I got older, I took over payments for boarding when I turned 18 for Cash. And then my mom was still paying for April. At the barn, and then after I moved, we went to over the other place, and my mom, they ended up selling April, so a couple of years ago I ended up buying her back, so I think I've had her back for about 4 years now, I think.
Wow,
already.
Really? Yeah, right after you came over to the other barn, or not long anyway.
Yeah.
You got her back?
I think I was there for about a year. Because I remember asking him, how do I ask?
Yeah. It's so hard asking your barn owner if you can bring more horses, because then they'll be like, no.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I'm like, I already have one. I don't know if I could bring another one. She had no problem with it. Thank you. I brought home April. She looked rough, but now she's fat, healthy. I just dewormed them again, so hopefully her hair will just fall completely off now, because otherwise I'm taking that that shedding tool where you just pull it back on them. Was it Easy Scrape or something? I don't know.
The easy blade things, yeah.
Yeah, that. And so I was using that, and you could just see the clumps of hair coming off of her. And
Still? In May? Jeez.
I was starting to wonder if she had Cushing's because of it. And she's gotten kind of tender on one foot, so I thought maybe. But she just doesn't look Cushing-like. So I thought, at the last show we were at, I overheard another girl talking about her horse, the one that she was, had one of her lesson kids on, because her paint passed away. The one that's up the road from where I'm at. And the one that she had there for the lesson kid has Cushing's, is what I overheard. So I was like, okay, well, she didn't look like she was Cushing's, because I thought they were supposed to have longer hair, and they just, I don't know, I guess I didn't look too much into it, but I was thinking maybe April has that, because she developed it with how old she is, because this horse is
it usually comes with age.
That's what I was wondering. So when I was talking to the new girl at the barn, she said it's possible she just needs another round of deworming. I'm like, well, a couple months ago, well, they're due anyway, which I just did, but I went and I dewormed them twice in a row, because they were bad with worms, have been the last couple of years, where they're just not, I don't know, with April, I've kind of been deworming her back to back, and so I just did it again, so we'll see how that works with her. But she used to be a pleasure horse. She was used as a broodmare, and actually I recently found out I work with the previous owner of her, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's neat. both quarter horses,
Yep.
right? Are they both AQH? They're not both AQHA.
They're both said to be registered. April, I did find her name, so I know what she is, or what her registered name is. Cash, I still not 100% sure what he's registered as.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they never gave me his papers, and then they told me it was lost. But the barn owner I'm at now, she said that it's all digital now, so she could easily find it, but we haven't talked about it.
You know, there's a weird thing with people and, like, selling horses with their papers, and I've never understood why, but a lot of them are reluctant to, like, give you the horse's papers. Like, they want to sell them without it. And I'm just like, why?
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't make any, like, if the horse is papered, what reason do you have to keep the papers for yourself? Or, like, what good does that do anybody? Why not just send the papers with them? Like, if you don't have the horse anymore, then why do you want the papers?
The only thing I know is that they would have to be, like, transferred, but I think you have to, like, send them in and somehow have them transferred. I don't know the whole, like, ordeal on that, because I think you can, like, when you have the papers, you get a hold of, say, AQHA, and I don't know anything about specifically, because I'm not a member of any of it, but this is just, like, my own knowledge that I know, where, like, you have to, I think the new owner, like, sends it in, or maybe the previous owner sends it in, and it has to get transferred, and then your name, the new owner's name, will be put on there below the old owner. So then it will be at the very bottom, so you can see the previous owners of that horse.
Well, see, I was going to do that for Red, because I had Red's papers, and you have to get a transfer sheet. So I guess if they don't print one off for you, you just go on the AQHA website and get a transfer sheet. And it costs like $80, I think, to transfer it into someone else's name. But I thought the buyer paid for that.
Oh.
Like, so if I bought Red, I have to pay to get it transferred into my name. So I didn't think it even cost the seller anything. But I've heard of some, like, some people will keep the papers and then try to sell them to you later. So they're like, hey, I have your horse's papers. I'll sell them to you for $200 if you want them.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah. And I've heard of people doing it at auction, too. If you, like, buy a horse at auction and somebody has a set of papers that matches that horse, even if it's not actually that horse, they'll sell you the papers to say that your horse is papered.
What?
So you have a set of papers on said horse that looks like the horse in the picture, but it's not that horse. But, yeah, stupid.
Wow. So, well, that makes me more, like, don't go to an auction.
Yeah. I learned that on TikTok, actually. There's a girl named Tara, Sanders? I think it's Tara Sanders. And she runs, like, a holding facility, like, sale barn type thing. And she was talking about that on one of their videos, that there could be, like, fraudulent papers on some of the horses because it's not actually the horse on the paper, but it matches them. So
that doesn't surprise me, though.
Yeah, people think freaking anything. But so you ride Cash in ranch.
I ride him in pretty much everything. So mostly speed events, but we recently tried our hand in, like, the pleasure stuff again. Was it last year, maybe 2 years ago? We did place very well with a certain judge, and then recently we just haven't been able to place in anything. But we've been battling laminitis, and was it next month? Yeah, this coming June sometime we will be hopefully getting x-rays done to see what else might be going on.
Yeah. And you think that was caused by his meds?
Possibly. There was some medicine that I was giving him for his cough or allergies, whatever was going on. It was ruled as allergies because so last year he got really, really coughing, so run down where he could barely even walk up from the pasture. And it developed when he was on a round bale. And so I don't know if he got into something really dusty, which he has had history of having really dusty hay, and it would make him cough. So he was on Uniprim when I first got him, like the very first year I got him, and he was down down in Rochester. Okay, he was down there. And so he was put on Uniprim then. Cleared him up. He was fine. Went to the new barn, or not where I'm at now, but the last one. Never had a problem, but I always had laminitis, or not laminitis, but like abscess problems.
Yeah, I remember that. He used to always have an abscess. Now it seems like he hasn't had one in a while now.
No, but now it's laminitis. So
I wonder, it seemed to be a lot sandier there at your last barn.
Yeah.
If maybe that had an impact on it.
I think so. It makes me wonder, because where I got them from, which isn't too far from that barn, when we would go out to get them, if they wouldn't come out when you called them, because they were kind of out in the back 40. I don't know if it had rained. I don't remember if it had rained or anything. But it was really like, I described it as marshy, like wet, sloppy, squishy. And it makes me wonder, with him having the thin soles, the white feet. Of course, white feet is like an old wives' tale, because some white feet are really strong and really good. Mm-hmm. But I think that had a lot to play into it, because even then, not knowing what I know now, I even thought he doesn't have that great of feet. Yeah. I wasn't that happy, and they were supposed to be trimmed before we picked him up.
Never was.
No, because that was supposed to knock down part of what we were buying him for.
Sure.
Didn't happen.
Well, and they thought he had white Lyme disease there for a while, or one of the farriers did or something.
That's what I was wondering what he had. So, like, his foot, so, like, if my hand is his sole, and his hoof wall grows out, and then there's that Lameness, it just doesn't hold that, like, his sole doesn't grow with his wall. So his sole doesn't, like, move. Yeah. And then his hoof wall will grow out. So, like, it just doesn't, it looks like white Lyme disease. I don't know if it has anything to do with the laminitis part, which it probably does, but his sole just does not grow. Weird. So I think that has to do with the laminitis, but he was diagnosed last year when, pretty sure he had a fever and it dropped or something, because he wasn't eating. He was coughing so bad, it was like he couldn't even move. Like, he was coming up, but very slowly. Yeah. But he got put on some steroids and a few other things and some bute, and a few days of that he was okay, and he came down, and now he's on clenbuterol, and I switch back and forth between clenbuterol now and Dex, which I got from a different vet, and so now we go back and forth between that. Yeah.
So if anybody knows about, like, horses with terrible feet, let us know, because Cash is, like, one thing after another, it seems. He just can never walk.
Yeah, so. He's actually on his front right foot. He's actually got this, at the point of his frog, between his toe and his frog, he's got this little, like, divot where they dug out an abscess, but it never grew back.
Yeah, it just doesn't grow back.
No. Yeah, so, like, seems... now in the arena, that's, like, when he came up lame at the last show, he had, like, 3 little pebbles of that rock in there, and so I had to dig that out. I'm lucky I was able to get it out with my hand, but I thought maybe...
I'm sure being on, like, the coarse sand like that, too, will kind of wear away at his soles, and because they're already thin, and they already don't grow back, so it probably does make him sore. Yeah. Unless he's on, like, grass or, like, super fine sand. So...
even the sand in our arena at the barn, every once in a while he still comes up lame in her. Like, he'll be fine. There's been a couple times where we'll be fine riding, and the next thing you know, like, we're trotting, and the next thing you know, he's lame step. I'm like, dude, you were just riding just fine. Like, did you step on a rock? Got down, checked him out, we start walking. You okay now? Like, did you just step on something? He's fine. I start, like, with him in hand, we'll start trot. Like, I'll make him trot. Gimp. Okay, well, we're done.
Well, I guess, x-rays would help, because I guess if he does have any rotation in that foot, because usually when I shadowed the farrier last fall that I worked with, he always said usually one foot will be worse than the other. Like, one foot will founder or get laminitis more than the other one. So if he's rotated more on one foot, then after just working on it probably just makes him sore. So you're going to try shoes on him.
Yeah, it's possible. If I get the x-rays done, or when I get the x-rays done, I'm hoping to have it either the same day of or within the next day of when my farrier comes, because I let her know that I plan on having the vet out and getting x-rays done, because she even agreed that it would be a good idea to have that done, and this way we can shoe him or get a good plan for him to get him comfortable. Yeah. My only thing is, if I do get him shoed, he lives out on pasture. And up by that gate where they come up and eat, it gets sloppy. Yeah. And they're going to pull. Yeah. So, and I don't have anything to put on once he gets those shoes on. I don't have anything to put on his feet to protect those shoes. And I have no way to bring him in. Right. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never had a horse with shoes. I've always been pretty lucky with my horses. Like, they've all had... Soccer had great feet. Sugar, like, I think... had laminitis probably at some point in her life, but has always had really good feet. I mean, she's like ouchy on the rocks because she's very flat-footed, but otherwise I've never had a horse that like needs to have shoes or anything. So that's one thing that I wish I knew a little bit more about, or like was able to help people with more, because like my lesson family, they're thinking about putting shoes back on Bentley because he's had shoes in the past. And I'm just like, well, does he really need to have the shoes on? Or because he came from a previous show family, they just always put shoes on? Because I feel like it's one thing a lot of people just do just because it's the thing to do, not because the horse really needs it. And like in your case, your horse actually needs it. But at these English barns and stuff that I've worked at, it's like all of these horses, for one, show like once a year, but they wear shoes all year. And I'm like, why? Like some of them are like 4 years old. I'm like, why does this horse even need shoes on? Like its feet are probably perfectly healthy and fine.
See, I'm curious if they're going to put shoes on the one horse before it sells.
Yeah.
Or it'll likely happen after it sells, but I kind of wondered if it was going to happen, but it hasn't.
She doesn't have shoes on?
No.
Wow, that's actually impressive.
I know, that's why I was like, was it going to happen?
Yeah, I feel like, you guys listening, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of show people like put shoes on because it's the thing to do, and it's like it looks nicer, and I don't know, everybody's doing it. But unless there's like a real like physical reason or like something going on with the horse to need the shoes, like why do people just slap shoes on everything that walks? I don't get it. And a lot of times it's all four. Like these horses at the barn I work at, like most of them are shoed all the way around. And I'm like, this horse gets ridden once a week on like 5-inch deep sand, goes to a show once a year, but it needs to wear shoes all the time. And they're expensive. People are shelling out like $150 every time just to get their horses reshoed or reset. When, like, I'm like, why do they even need to wear them? I don't get it.
I think resetting is even more expensive because they have to like find a spot in their time to be able to come down and get you, because it's not a regular visit either. Because like at the barn, the one mare, she had thrown a shoe and it literally had a quarter crack, so he's been doing extra work on that one. I think she's healed from it now, but like she's shoed all the way around. Plus she gets I think it's a leather-like pad.
Oh yeah, the
and
leather pads.
Yeah, she gets those, and I'm like, that's kind of neat. I like those. Well, she's got like, something similar with Cash, which made me wonder if he's got something similar or if he would need something similar.
Pads would probably help him.
That's what I thought, and I'm kind of wondering if that's what we're gonna go with. Cause I'd prefer if he had it because his soles, like I said, are so thin and just
it'll protect him.
Yeah, he's had shoes before, and the last pair, the last pair, because I've only done front shoes on him. The last pair he had literally came off of him, and the pair before that, because they were fine, he still like came up lame on them. And so I mean, like you can't ride him on a rock still with them, which because that's something that your lesson people were asking about with Bentley, if he needed shoes when I was helping with him at the show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really depends, because like I did tell him he is tender-footed on the rocks, because crossing back and forth when I was like warming him up and brought him over to you and I had to cross, and like he is tender on those, so be careful if you do have to cross or anything, just take it very easy. And so they're like, would shoes help with that? I'm like, it could, but it's not always a guarantee because shoes just doesn't fix everything.
Yeah.
So if anything, getting a hoof hardener or her, what do I use? Turpentine or something like that. I'd have to look and see if that's what it's called. But that like takes soreness out, and that helps dry it out a little bit.
Oh, that's the drawing agent, isn't it? That helps draw out the soreness. Yeah.
Yeah, it does that. It does a couple different things because it helps protect it, and it helps like draw out moisture, and it keeps it hardens that sole. Like you don't want it to get certain parts. You don't put it on the frog. You don't put it on the cornet band. You don't put it like on the bulbs of the heel or any of that. So you want it specifically on that sole. And I think you could put it on the hoof wall, but they also want you to use like a parchment paper kind of thing. But I have yet to use that, so.
Yeah.
But I think that's to help keep it clean, and because it's so sticky.
Speaking of the show, Mel was at the last show in the vlog I did, but I managed to get no footage of basically anything, so sorry about that. But Mel did the Queen's contest with me this year. I finally convinced her to do one. So I think you can see on cash behind me in the footage of the Queen's contest. So what did you think of the Queen's? Was it what you were expecting?
Yeah. Once he got in the ring, I definitely wasn't as nervous. I mean, I was definitely still nervous, but
Yeah.
I definitely relaxed a little more. I might try it again next year.
Yeah. It's pretty simple. Like, I think people get intimidated by it, but it's literally just like a rail class, and then they ask you some questions. I got a lot of comments on my vlog that people not knowing what a Queen's contest is, or like had never heard of it before,
Really?
or like overseas they don't have anything like that. So I made a whole video about like what a Queen's contest is. So if you haven't seen that, go to my channel and watch that. And I kind of go through and explain what the point of the class is, or the contest. But yeah, this was my second year doing it, and it was fine. I liked the judges this year.
Mm-hmm.
There was two of them were volunteers.
Yeah, I think
Beside the main judge.
Yeah, and I really like the volunteers. I will say that because they kind of know everybody a little bit, and they kind of know how everybody like rides, and they've seen them more often. And whereas the judge, like when I approached the judges, the one judge, like, she kept a straight face, and I know they have to do that, but like, the little smile she did is just kind of like, ooh, that's still kind of intimidating.
Yeah.
But the other two is just, like, more friendly, and I didn't even recognize them, because, like, one of them especially, I was like, I didn't even recognize who that was.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I feel a little less intimidated, but I'm still a little intimidated.
Right.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But
Mel was the only person who knew who Mystic Dan was. I guess nobody else knew who he was.
yeah, apparently nobody knew who he was and what he was running in that afternoon.
Yeah, I had no idea. They asked me that, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, he did not win the Preakness, so
No.
we do not have a Triple Crown winner this year.
Oh,
So.
really? I don't really keep up with the horse racing that much. I'll watch it when it comes across TV every now and then, but otherwise I don't really. But
Yeah, that's about what I do. I mean, if it comes up on TV. Mm-hmm. So, like, for the Kentucky Derby, when they had that three-way tie, I didn't even notice, like, I forgot it was even on TV that day. I was just, like, wasn't planning on being home. I think, what was I doing? I got home early or something, and I was just flipping through the channels and found it. It's like, okay, well, I'll watch this.
Yeah, I don't really. It's like, it seems to be always on Roku, because we have Roku TV, so they have, like, the Roku live channels, and it has, like, its own channel. It's almost always on, but I don't watch it unless I'm, like, have nothing else to watch. But if you guys don't follow on the Instagram or any of the other social media pages, me and Mel brought home another horse yesterday. And Mel sent me a meme, like an hour after she left, that said, people think that I'm rich because I have a lot of horses, but really I'm just irresponsible. Like, oof, called me out. Yeah.
I did a laughing face. It's like, love you.
So, we brought home a paint mare. Her name is Stella, and I'm making a video on it right now. It's going to be a vlog in the next couple days, but a friend of mine texted me and was like, she basically had to make her boarder get rid of this horse because her boarder brought two horses to her place who were like, it sounds like they were both really well behaved when they got there, but they've only been there a couple months, and the one has just started to have all these problems. Like, she's really unsafe to be around. And my friend gives some lessons herself, and she has two little kids, and she doesn't even feel safe, like, having her kids around this horse at all, because it kicks, it bites, I guess, it's super pushy, has no boundaries, and has basically done nothing its whole life. It's just been a pasture pet. So she's never been broke out, and has just never learned boundaries or how to be around people. So naturally, all my friends seem to get these horses and be like, oh, we'll just call Michaela and see if she wants it. So naturally, I go get it. And that's what we did yesterday. So it's a paint mare. I think I said that. And they think she's like early teens. So she's not too old to break out, but I don't think she'll like win any ribbons in the show ring or anything. But we went and got her, and my friend was like super nervous about it. She wanted us to come really early in the morning because I guess the one time that they moved the horses, it took them like hours to get this mare loaded, and she would kick and bite, and they had to like build a chute and basically force her into the trailer. So we went in the morning kind of anticipating it to take a while, and it was supposed to rain and be super shitty. But we got there and we got her loaded in like 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. She actually did really good. She didn't pin her ears at all. She didn't try to kick.
Nope.
And you could tell she's not real sure about being in a trailer and stuff, but with some grain and stuff to bribe her in there, she got all 4 feet in. We just shut the door. So
Yep.
I'd say she seems like she's smart. I mean,
I think she's willing, especially once she gets away with someone of the herd and you don't let her get away with being pushy.
yeah.
I think she'll come around very easily.
Yeah, I think she probably just needs a few good, attitude adjustments. Yeah, and I think she'll probably be fine. Because, if you guys remember, a couple years ago, I had a project horse named Dolly, and she was an absolute monster. And she was, 20-something years old. She was broke, but, she would literally shove her big-ass head into you to shove you over out of her way. She'd walk right into you. She'd step on you. She was awful to handle. I didn't let anybody handle her except for me because she wouldn't bite, but she'd just plow you right over. Mm-hmm. And a couple good smackdown moments of getting her the hell out of my space. And she was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. This horse, it seems like, was very sweet and was a really nice horse prior to going to my friend's house, and she's developed these attitude problems. So I'm thinking once we just get those straightened out a little bit, she might be a really nice horse. I got her home, and she got shocked by the electric twice. And, I mean, she didn't freak out about it or whatever. She just got shocked and, moved away. But she hasn't tried to push on the fence at all. My friend was really worried about her, pushing the fence and was glad I had electric. But we put her in her own little training pen, and she just stood there contently all afternoon and was hanging out with the horses next to her, but she didn't seem to have any problems. She seemed fine, so.
Good.
Yeah, I was impressed, so.
I know when I was out there yesterday, and I think you were turning the water off, so you were on the other side of your house. I was watching, and the other mares on the other side of the fence, they were having a little smack down there. I was like, what are you guys doing? So I was like, she doesn't affect your herd, right? You guys are in your own pen. She's in her
They're
own
trying
pen.
to establish dominance with the horse across the fence.
I was like, what are you doing? He was like, they're just kicking at each other. The black one, and then the black and white one, and then the other adult one over there. They both, were facing, their butts were facing towards each other and both kicking at each other. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Those two go back and forth all the time. It's like they can't figure out who's the boss.
Really?
Because the black mare has always been the highest, and she bosses everyone around. But the black and white one, Onyx, gives her a run for her money. I mean, all the time they're squealing and kicking at each other. Just middle of the day, I'll be out mowing the lawn or something, and you'll just hear them have a squeal fest. And I'm like, have we not figured this out by now? Onyx got here in October. I mean,
they don't care.
No, but I think they're pretty equal with each other, because sometimes Onyx will be at the water tank or whatever, and she'll just squeal and put her butt to Embry, and Embry goes away. So I'm like, well, she's putting her in her place, I guess. But yeah, those two, it's can we figure this out one of these days? So, but Onyx hung out with Stella at the fence there for hours. They just hung out together. She was like, okay, great, somebody else to hang out with.
New friend.
So, yeah. So the said friend who had Stella also was the gal that I gave my goats to. And the reason we got on topic of me taking this horse was because she originally texted me asking if I wanted my goats back. And I was kind of honestly, not really, but actually I kind of do want them back, because I've kind of been missing them lately, cleaning up the pasture area because the weeds have just started going crazy again. And we just had a bunch of severe storms, so now I have a bunch of more trees to clean up and shit everywhere. And I was like, I kind of miss having the goats. It would be kind of nice to have them back. I'm not excited for trying to keep them in the fence again, but if they can at least stay in one area and eat it down as much as they can, would be really nice. Because I was trying to spray, with the weed spray out there at the beginning of the year, but it's so hard to get ahead of it because there's so much there. So, and you have to spray it once a week, because you could spray the weeds and they'll curl up and die, but they'll still continue to grow. So it doesn't kill what's underground.
You gotta get their roots.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm hoping they'll be useful. Otherwise, we might have to eat them. Kidding. But yeah, so what are your plans with Cash in April this year? Because you still ride April once in a while, right?
every once in a while. Not very often. She's mostly retired now. Her top line, I've noticed, hasn't been keeping, but I haven't been working her in the arena for, like, lunging, which I think has a lot to do with it. Even though she's out in the hilly pasture, but I've noticed the last few years when I do work with her, it does build back up, so I don't know if it's just, like, keeping her where she uses her back and her belly and everything to keep that up, so I don't know, but...
Yeah, well, she's getting old.
Yeah. Basically, I'm just, if she's pretty much just living out her days at this point.
Yeah.
And then with Cash, I'm hoping, if he's sound enough, I'd like to get him out for a long distance ride.
Yeah.
But we'll see on that too. Depends on what the vet says and what he recommends for shoeing, and if
he's rotated, will make a difference too, because then ultimately you won't be able to go long distances without him getting sore.
Yep.
So
we'll see. It all depends on how his feet and everything are, and it determines on what the future
sucks
holds.
when their horses get old. I look at Sugar and BB, and they do pretty good yet, but with BB's IMM and stuff, and Sugar we think has arthritis in her hocks and stuff, it's breaks my heart thinking that they're getting older and one day they are going to be totally retired and just they're not going to be here forever. Because I've had them for literally ever and used them for everything, so I'm what am I going to replace them with once they're gone?
You've had them since what, 7, 6?
Sugar, yeah, we got her this winter of 07, 08 with soccer, so I would have been 7, 8. So I think this is year 17.
Holy moly.
And BB I've had 8 or 9 years. So, yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, and it's always hard.
Yesterday was Soccer's birthday. I think he would have been 23. Oh. I think him and Cash were the same age, weren't they? He was an 01.
He might have been a little older than Cash then.
Okay.
Cash was I think 2002 or 2003.
Gotcha.
Somewhere in there.
Well, yeah, so he would have been 23 because this is 2024. So.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he's 22 or 23, so I just
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Sugar's 19 or 20 this year. Because we think when we bought them together, Sugar was probably only 2 years old. She was really young. So, yeah. But she seemed to be in a really good mood the other day. I put her and Luna just out in the yard, and Sugar I just let loose in the yard because she never goes anywhere. And she walked down all the way back down to their pen to get a drink out of the tank, and then once she got her drink, she just bolted across the yard to get back to Luna. So it was kind of funny, but yeah.
So what are your plans with your girls today? Or not today, this year?
Well, I would like to get to an endurance ride. If there's any next month that are relatively local, I'd like to get to one. But I do want to get to 2 or 3 this year. And then it'd be really nice to get another lesson horse. Not that I really have the room right now, but at some point getting another lesson horse would be great. I really just want to ride Hazel a lot this year and just haul her around and take her places. Chance and Rojo would be nice to get them just hauled around and exposed. If I have extra room in the trailer to just bring one of them with so that they can go places. Rojo we still need to work with him on his feet because he's going to be due for a trim soon and he's not real great about picking up his feet. It's he gets nervous about it. The one day we were doing it with him, it's he would whip it up really quick, but then it's he'd get nervous and put it back down. So the foster home he was in, the lady said she was working with him on picking up his feet, but I kind of wonder how she was doing it because he seems really anxious about it. But I mean, he'll do it. He just won't hold it there. So we need to work with him on that. And then I guess we'll see what we can do with Stella now. But my main goal is just riding the crap out of Hazel and taking her places. So, yeah.
Well, let's see. I don't know what I got. Oh, wait, you're going to be gone next weekend, aren't you?
Yeah.
Darn. I was going to say, well, next weekend, hopefully it'll be nice and we can go for a ride, but...
Yeah, we have a wedding next weekend in Minnesota, so...
I was wondering where you were going.
Yeah, Minneapolis. Somewhere near Minneapolis.
Ooh.
So, one of my cousins is getting married, but... yeah, I just want to ride Hazel. Taking Hazel to some endurance rides or some long-distance rides, I think would be... really good for her. I haven't decided if Hazel's one that I'm going to sell yet or not.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, she's kind of growing on me. She just seems so sweet lately. I don't know what about her attitude has changed, but like, she'll come up to me and bug me when I'm out in their lot and stuff, and she just seems, I don't know, seems more interested in people lately and seems more chipper in attitude and stuff. Like, she doesn't seem like a grumpy mare, you know, that just is like, go away. She seems like kind of interested and stuff, so I don't know. Like, the point of me taking these free horses and buying these projects is to resell them, right? To make money. But I kind of like her. I mean, she's pretty small, but all my horses are small. Thomas really likes her. So I think Thomas would be butthurt if I sold her. But I'm like, well, I can't keep all of them. You know, I'll have like 45 horses in the next 2 years if I just keep all of them. But now he really likes Stella. So this one that I brought home yesterday, he went out and looked at her. He's like, I like this one. This one's my horse now. I was like, okay, great. So you like this one, and you like Hazel, and he likes the Borders horses. I'm like, well, I can't just hoard all of them. And he got really excited because my friend was telling us that Stella seems to have like this herding type mentality. She's like, I don't know what about it, but it's like she tries to go up and round up the other horses, or like try to push them all in the same place. And so I told Thomas that, you know, my friend says it's like she has a herding mentality. Like, she's always trying to get all the horses in together. And he's like, what? I was like, yeah, so me and Mel said, I guess we got to try her on cows sometime. He's like, well, we have to keep it then. I'm like, oh God, we literally haven't even touched it. So
how'd I know he'd get that excited over her?
Yeah, he thinks she's pretty and stuff, which she is pretty, but
she's got like hazel colored
yeah, she's got
eyes.
really cool eyes. So like your typical horses are like the brown eyes. They're like just dark black
or blue
eyes, right? Yeah. But hers are like, they're like a human hazel eye. Like, they're very light brown, caramely color. They're not just like a dark brown eye. So I've never seen eyes like that before, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah, she's very pretty. She's got, what is it, flaxen, you said, mane and tail?
Yeah, so she's a true, like, chestnut paint. So she's, like, the red color, but then her mane and tail are, like, really light brown, almost blonde. She looks a lot like that filly that my Borders have, but she has a black mane and tail, so she's like a bay paint, and Stella's like a true chestnut paint. So yeah, she's pretty. She's a looker. I think she'd probably sell just off of her looks, but yeah. So the only reason I took her is because Mel said she'd help me train her. Because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I just like one person having all these horses to ride gets a little overwhelming, but hopefully with you and then my intern this year, if she can come out more, we'll have plenty of hands on deck to whip them into shape. But Mel wants to get her own project horse sometime. So
yeah. Sometime down the road.
How it works out. Yeah. What is your like ideal, if like a trailer rolled up in your driveway today, what would you hope was getting out of it? Like your ideal project?
Like a project to sell or a project for me to keep?
Probably to keep. I guess if you were going to do a project to replace your horses, like what's the horse you want to look for?
Well, that's because the reason why I asked that is because I've been thinking about that.
My storage filled up. Hand me that.
Hand you it?
Yeah, intermission. My phone storage filled up again. Sorry, y'all. Had the intermission for a second. But, like, Mel's horses are both getting older in their 20s and stuff. So, like, you're kind of in the same boat as I am, where it's like horses are getting older. Like, once BB and Sugar are gone, I'm going to need, like, a replacement for them. So, yeah, what's your ideal project?
Well, one to keep would be, I don't know, I'm thinking it would definitely be a mare.
A mare?
Yeah, it would have to be a mare. I don't know if
mare people over here.
Well, because so I've talked to my barn owner about a couple different things, and you know, I've talked to you about a couple different things, and I'm like, well, if I were to get a mare, my next horse, and if something were to happen where she came up lame or something were to happen, I could still breed her if I wanted to. Mm-hmm. So I wanted something that's papered. I want something that's got good bloodlines, and I want something that, I don't know if I want proven, like, yeah, obviously you want proven if you want, depending on what you want to go. I want something that goes all the way around if I can. If I want to really go down this way. Thank you.
I just want to make sure my mic's not way louder than yours.
And so, I haven't really thought much about, like, the proven stuff, because I'm still learning about how to figure that kind of thing out.
Like
about
bloodlines and stuff.
Yeah. But the color, I don't know about color, because color to me doesn't really matter. But I know to a lot of people, if you're breeding and stuff like that, it does matter, which is like, you know, so, and I can kind of understand that. But I also thought, like, I've also heard that with the feet thing, it might be that paints have a lot of problems with their feet. Yeah. It's a common thing. So I thought, do I want to go down the road and have another paint? Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know. So it's just something I kind of thought about, what breed and what colors, and just been kind of picky.
You want something young?
Yeah. I don't know if I'd go. 2 would be the youngest. Yeah. And I would go with something probably, I haven't really thought age-wise, but probably something younger than 10. Yeah. Just so I have longer to do.
Single digits. Yeah.
Yeah. And we can go and, like, do more things. We can learn more things. We can have a longer time to, if we want to barrel race, we go barrel race. We want to do more trail riding, we can trail ride. We want to go do some LDs, we can do some LDs. We want to do everything that we want to do, we can go and do it. And we have all this time to do it. Because I want to do some, like, ranch work, some cutting stuff. Like, I would love to learn all that stuff. Yeah. It's always been on my bucket list to learn that kind of thing. Right. So
you want something versatile. Like, you don't want anything gated or something like that. Really. No. I'm not really a big gated horse person either. I know some people love them, especially the endurance people love them, but I've never really had a taste for them.
I mean, so. I've seen them a couple times, and I was like, is that a gated horse? And it was when we were doing, like, a mock ride out here for the LD last year. And one of the girls out there had a gated horse, and like, is your horse gated? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's cool.
Have you ever ridden one?
No.
Yeah.
No. Unless, did they, whose horse said, who, is it your lesson kid that's got a gated horse?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Maggie is.
Maggie is? Okay, gated. Then yeah, I wasn't, because I know she said that she's got one, but I couldn't remember if it was Bentley or her.
She's a Tennessee walker.
Okay. So. Then, yeah, I haven't been on, because I tried getting on her to warm her up for her end of the day classes that day. And
yeah, my lesson family went to the show. Both of them actually were at the show last month, and my lesson girls' horses were total assholes. But yeah, so yeah, Mel had to help me wrangle them, because, like, part of it's tough. Like, it's nice having people around that can help, because I am trying to, for one, manage all of their horses. I'm trying to get Sugar ready for my one lesson kid, because he can't really do it by himself yet, and his parents aren't horse people. So I have to, like, kind of babysit him and help him and make sure Sugar's ready for her next classes, and then I'm trying to find my other lesson family and make sure they're ready for their next classes. Do you know which next class you're in? Is your horse ready? Which horse are you using? Like, and then the horses want to just be assholes, so it's like, okay, well, great, now we've got to scratch these classes because the horse is out of control. And yeah, so it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So yeah, I got on her one horse, and because so she has some confidence problems with the horses, because they were been such assholes to her, and so they had asked if Michaela could hop on, and so she had help with the other kid, and like as she was saying, and so they asked, would you hop on him? Like,
they're asking Mel, like, hey Mel, you want to hop on our asshole horse?
Yeah, like, I can give it a shot. And they said that he's got, like, all these fancy buttons. I'm like, I'm all self-taught. I mean, I don't know all these fancy buttons, but I can give it a shot. Yeah. So I hop on him, and he just immediately starts bucking, and I'm like, yay.
Yeah, awesome. Well, and then the other horse, Maggie, was being a giant asshole, like, towards the end of the show, and I am trying to get my Sugar ready for my other kid, because he's going into a class, and so I'm trying to get the bridle on her, and then the parents come up to me, and they're like, Michaela, we need your help. Like, Maggie's out of control. She's being a complete jerk. And then my mom comes up to me, and she's like, Michaela, you need to get over there and get control of that horse, because she's rearing up, and she's just out of control. And Mel's over there trying to get it under control. She's like, Melanie's over there, but you should probably go over there and see if you can get the horse under control. So I see Mel walking by with the horse. You're, like, holding her by the bit, basically. And I'm like, Mel's got her. She looks fine. You had gotten her, settled down there for a minute. So I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know your mom came over to talk to you.
Yeah, she was like, you need to get over there. Mel's trying to wrangle the horse, and she's rearing up. And was she actually rearing up?
I don't remember if she was rearing up. I don't think she really reared. There was a couple times she, like, pulled back, but it was to the point, like, maybe her feet came off. Maybe that's what she thought was that she was rearing, but it wasn't, like, a full-blown rear.
Yeah, no, my mom is, bless her heart, she comes to some of the local horse shows, but she doesn't know anything about horses either. So sometimes when she says something, I'm like, okay, but really, is that actually what's happening? So.
Yeah. But she, like, yeah, Maggie, I even tried getting on her. She was not standing still. She kept freaking out. She wanted to go back to the trailer, like, hardcore. Yeah. You start walking back, she's like, oh, yeah, okay, yep, I'm fine. No. It was like, no, you're going this way.
Right.
Like, bitch, no, you're gonna work. And then tried making her do a couple circles. Didn't really work. Like, most of the time, she wanted to try and side pass without, like, I don't know if her legs are actually doing the side pass work, but she was, like, literally moving away from you, her whole body
sideways.
That way.
Yeah.
I'm like,
ugh.
That's not how this works.
Yeah. I think the next shows, we need to just take her out and just lunge her right by the trailer and just walk her around, like, not even ride her, but she just needs to be walked around. And the problem is that my lesson family has 2 horses, and they've become extremely buddy sour to each other. So I've been telling them, like, at home, once in a while, like, especially if you get Maggie out and ride Maggie, tie Bentley to a tree where they can't even make eye contact with each other. On the other side of the house, other side of the property, whatever, tie his ass to a tree. Because I guess at home one day they were riding the other one, and Bentley somehow, like, got the gate open or whatever and took off across the yard to be with them. So I was like, well, he can't be doing that shit. He's going to have to learn to be by himself once in a while. Especially if, if they have to take Maggie somewhere, just her, or take Bentley somewhere, just him, like, they need to be able to function without each other. So I hope they're practicing that at home, or just tying them both up for an hour a day.
Away from each other.
Yep.
Because I gave them, like, I've had that issue with Cash and April before. And, of course, they're still like this. And they will always be like this because they've been together forever. But I've had, like, I can't take both of them. If I want to use both of them in the show, I can't take them both to the show. And I learned this last year, if I'm going to ride both of them. April will do just fine in the arena. Cash, on the other hand, no. He wants to get back to April as soon as fucking possible. Yeah. Like, I have pictures where, like, we're going over logs, and his legs are, like, all the way up here. Like, he looks like a freaking dressage horse out there. I'm like, dude, that's not how we cross logs. But how I've worked with that, like, even when we were down in the last barn that we were at, I would take him out around the other side of the property. Like, we were able, when the field wasn't planted, we could use it. So I used it. And I would go on the other side of the fence, like where the pasture was, where April, when we had her, and all the other horses, whoever he was friends with. I'd work his ass right there at that fence line.
Yeah.
We'd trot up and down it. We'd do circles, like, if I was on his back. Or I'd go and I'd lunge him out there. And then I'd walk him away out towards the field. And then we'd rest out there, away from the barn.
Yeah.
And that's how we do it. We'd do it. Like, we would go, and if he really wanted to be a dick one day, or even not even just one day, like, we'd go out there and we'd do an intense run. If we have to, like, we'd intensely work right there at that gate.
Yeah.
Or wherever. And then we'd go and we'd rest somewhere else where I want him to be more comfortable at.
Right.
Because out in that field, or wherever, if we're walking that field line, he'll get, like, really stiff. He'll get his head high. And he's like, okay, well, barn's that way. We're going to go this way.
Because he wants to rush and go home. Yeah.
Like, he'll literally turn and cut across the field. He does that out where I'm at now, too. Like, he did that one day. I don't know if they did the field yet. And I'm just letting him run. I'm like, okay, it's a good day. I'm going to let you run today.
Yeah.
Just let him full blown out if I can. Just letting him run. He literally, like, we're going this way. He just starts darting off this
bombing
way.
The other way.
I'm like, I'm glad that I was prepared for that to happen. Because I have you on a loose rein.
Yeah, Baby will do the same thing. She's a diver.
Yeah.
So.
And then you drop that shoulder, and then it's like, it's like, dude, this is why I don't like running you full blown out around barrels, because I can't figure out how to get you to lift that shoulder up, because I don't have the certain buttons for him. Right. So he doesn't lift it, and of course with his feet, so I think that has a lot to do with it too. But he doesn't lift that shoulder up, so he doesn't, like, it always feels like he's gonna slip, and we're gonna go to the side. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, it drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, horses, they said, get horses, it'll be fun. But, yeah, I'm hoping that my lesson family can get some control over both of their horses. Their horses are just so wildly different. They're, like, broke so differently. Maggie's, like, barely broke at all. She's, like, super green. And then Bentley's, like, fancy show broke. So it's just, we're working on it. But, anyway, we got almost an hour. So I think we should probably wrap this up so this can upload. But thanks for coming on, Mel.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Hopefully this will be more interesting to listen to than just, like, me talking for 45 minutes, because sometimes, like, doing a solo podcast is kind of tough, because it's like I don't know what to talk about for the next 45 minutes, or I have to, like, like write out things to talk about, but like this where we can just have a conversation is a lot easier. So, well, if you guys enjoyed this, let us know down below, and hopefully Mel will come back on again sometime. But I think it'd be fun if we go to any like endurance rides, if maybe Brooke or somebody would do an episode or something about endurance, or just if we can get some more people on it would be fun. But this is a good test run for me to have the first guest on. So thanks for coming on. Let us know if you have any questions, comments, concerns down below, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.